landed in San Francisco, I don't know, 6.5 hours later to thousands of notifications.
Today, we're speaking with Khalid El Khatib. We're going on a viral journey that delves into the heartwarming world of a simple family tradition that accidentally broke the internet.
My mom sent incredibly detail-rich itinerary of how we'd spend every single day. I tweeted a screenshot of my mom's itinerary. The tweet of my mom had gotten a ton of traction. We did ABC News, we did the Today Show.
This is the show about the people who create, amplify, and influence our culture and how they do it. Want to capture lightning in the bottle? Want your content to spread like wildfire? I'm Ben Kaplan, and let's break the internet.
Welcome to Break the Internet. I'm chatting with Khalid El Khatib, and you're famous, Khalid, but you're famous because your mom is so famous now. So much so that you're even recognized on the street. So tell me, how did you break the internet by leveraging the virality of mom in Iowa?
Yeah, sure. So we're a package deal. I sort of joke that it's like Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian, but the inverse. Like I'm the sonager, not the momager. In mid-December of last year, I was flying to San Francisco for a work trip. It was just 2 weeks before Christmas. And every Christmas I go home to Iowa, where I'm from. I'm based in New York, but fly home to Iowa. And my mom sent, what she does every year, incredibly detail-rich itinerary of how we'd spend every single day, really laser focused on what we'd be eating. And because it's Iowa and because my mom is she calls herself the Christmas nut, really, really obsessed with Christmas, we eat a lot. And so just before the plane took off from New York to San Francisco, I was going to San Francisco for work that day. I tweeted to my 25,000 or 30,000 followers a screenshot of my mom's itinerary because I thought people would enjoy it. And it just so happened that there was no Wi-Fi on the plane. The Wi-Fi was broken. And so I landed in San Francisco, I don't know, 6.5 hours later to thousands of notifications. So hopeful I hadn't been canceled. And it turned out the opposite was true, that the tweet of my mom had gotten a ton of traction. People were immediately obsessed with her and her obsession with the holidays and with her kids coming home. And from there, it really took off. We literally in the days that followed did a media tour that culminated with my mom appearing in a viral performance appearance on the Today Show where she met her hero, Hoda.
And so through this, we're talking, some of the numbers here, around 150,000 likes, millions of impressions, at least, 9 or 10 million in count, and even helping the Today Show itself go viral because they're active on TikTok, and this is one of their most popular TikToks of all time, featuring your mom. What were you thinking? What was it like for your family? At what point did you tell mom? And did she kind of get it? Is she a social media savvy person that her son just made her social media famous or not? What was that conversation like? And what was it like around the holidays that, back in last year?
My mom is not super social media. She's not on Facebook. One of the few moms that's not on Facebook. She has an Instagram to follow me and my sisters. And she said that she only has a Twitter account so she can know what I'm doing when I don't call her.
Okay. It's like when I have son update challenges, I go on the Twitter. Okay. Got it.
And so look, certainly not an expert and not a big time non-digital native. I think that the response shocked me. So, I've worked in marketing and communications for 15 years, and I've navigated a lot of press before. I've done a lot of press myself. And from the minute I set foot back in Iowa, or from the minute I sent that tweet, actually, all the way through the holidays, I had a war room in my childhood bedroom, just fielding this onslaught of press requests and constant social media outreach. So we did NPR, we did ABC News, we did the Today Show, we did a series of blogs. People were reaching out asking if they could send us cookies. Local farmers were sending us cheese for the holidays. So it was a sort of level of interest that I had not experienced, and it continued to sort of blow my mom away. So yeah, I mean, it was a wild ride, and she, she loved almost every minute of it. I think there were
Well, and take me through. So just the timeline and how fast this spread. It's one of the things like we love studying and break the internet. So you're going on this cross country flight. You're going to be on this long flight. You kind of queue up the tweet. You don't have Wi-Fi. You land down and it's like your phone's kind of exploded. And then how fast was it where it started appearing in other things? Like how fast are we talking? Media appearances, other picking up of the story. Like where is it going? How does it spread until how fast were you on the Today Show? What was the pace like?
I think two things. So one, people picked up on it almost right away. So I think one of the reasons that the tweet went viral is there were a couple. I have a couple of high profile Twitter followers that I've had for a while. Chrissy Teigen is one of them, and so Chrissy retweeted the initial tweet, and that definitely gave it some big time legs. And then a number of reporters that have followed me for a number of years, again, as someone who has written for multiple publications and worked in the communication space, I have some media followers, and so they sort of helped elevate it and get the ball rolling. And then people started to reach out from publications, and then I think then two things really accelerated it from there. One, my mom has not done much press, if any, in her entire life, and is like a natural born talent. Like it is born for TV, and I
Well, I
think
mean, she's personable, she's fun, she looks like the mom. I think to quote some of your Twitter responders, the mom that you want to adopt you. She's out of central casting. If they were going to cast like Iowa mom for Christmas,
yeah, for sure. Like I say, like all the time, people will go viral, and then you learn they're like a horrible person or have this incredibly problematic past. With my mom, what you see is what you get. Like growing up, all my friends were like, "I love your mom so much. I wish she was my mom." And I said on the Today Show, you're in one of two camps. Either you have a mom like mine, who you're just obsessed with and makes you feel so special every time you go home, or you want a mom like mine. And so, I think that really, continued to sort of capture the attention of everyone. And people followed along with my whole 10 days home in Iowa, what my mom was cooking, the quintessential Christmas things that we were doing in my small town, which feels very much like a Hallmark movie or a Hallmark town. And then the other thing is, if you remember in Christmas of this year, there was this sort of catastrophic cold wave that swept over the whole country that was unbearable. It was so cold in Iowa. And there were mass, related cancellations to flights, especially on Southwest Airlines. And so a massive number of people, more than in many, many other years previously, were missing the holidays with their family. They were suffering through 12 or 24 hours in airports. And I think people were looking for a really positive story, and it captured their hearts and their attention. They didn't have much to do. They were sitting at the airport, and people were saying,
living vicariously through your mom's like
"That's right.
Christmas offerings.
That's
Yes.
right." Yeah. I mean, and I was tweeting a lot of food pictures too, which I think, beats airport food.
So what is this happened, last Christmas, we're, kind of months later now. And what has been the effect on you, your mom, your family? Is she feeling pressure for Christmas this year to kick it up a notch now that she's famous for that? What has been the result?
Yeah, I think multiple things. One, she continues to get recognized in public, as do I. So, like, she'll be at the grocery store, someone will ring her up and say, "Hey, are you the Christmas mom?" Or, when she's going to a doctor's appointment or out getting her haircut or the equivalent. I live in New York, 9 million people or something like that, and people will come up to me on the street recognizing me from Twitter or from my mom's viral appearance on the Today Show. And so that's happening. I think there's, the other thing is that there's sustained interest and momentum around everything that my mom does. So she came to visit me in New York in February. We went back on the Today Show, which people were super excited about. We went to a bunch of restaurants and bars and Broadway shows when my mom was in town, and she got recognized in a couple of those. And then when it comes to Valentine's Day, Easter, Pride, which is happening right now, I'll tweet either, an itinerary or a meal that my mom is preparing back home, or a care package that she'll send me, or I've teased out I'm going home to Iowa for the 4th of July, the itinerary that she's building for that. And they're like, all of those tweets get significant attention.
Well, and is there any part of this that gets quoted? I mean, just to give you like a sample, like here, it's like I'll say Wednesday, travel to Galena in the afternoon, the hallmark of the Midwest. Galena Brewery for late lunch, or bread and vine, or dinner out. Try pepper sprouts or Morocco. Grandma could babysit, or cocktails at the Julian. Great old fashions. Otherwise, dinner at home. Grilled bourbon glazed pork tenderloin for dinner with accompaniments. So do you get either A, do parts of it, what parts resonate with people? Do people quote parts of it, or do people like know dishes like, ooh, like how did that glazed bourbon pork turn out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are some people that are like maybe a little too into it all, but yeah, that quote and know every single thing that happened. I think a couple of things. One, the Galena being the hallmark of the Midwest. It's this small town, this like quintessential small town, about 20 miles outside of my town in Illinois, and so the sort of tourism bureau there invited us out. We did like a little TikTok for them. They gave us a gift basket. It was very sweet. The Julian, where we always go for a cocktail, invited us for a cocktail, and they saw some people come in and visit. And, I just did a blog post on like 5 reasons to visit Iowa in the summer for the Iowa Tourism Board. And so, it sounds influencery. I have not been paid for any of that. And I'm only doing it because I really do love Iowa, and I loved growing up there. And these small businesses, which are such a part of the sort of fabric of what my mom does every day and what I like to go home to, I'm so happy to elevate their profile and to like get other people interested in them. And if they're passing through town, to go by. And so I love that people are sort of internalizing it and quoting it and hopefully supporting it whenever they have a chance to.
And finally, what has this whole experience taught you, your mom, your family about the nature of the internet and breaking the internet? What have you learned about, the types of content that people want to see?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why this experience has been almost wholly positive and continues to have momentum is because we're only doing it because it's fun and because we love each other and the holidays and spending time together. There's like no end game here. We're not gunning for like a YouTube channel or a cookbook or anything
Okay.
along those lines. We're not sponsored by anyone. And so our intentions are authentic. And I think that comes across in anything that I post. My mom just didn't suddenly start making care packages or itineraries. This is just
Because she had a monetization strategy of like, oh, let's do this. Let's launch this with this thing. Let's do this. Let's have a program, a campaign. No, none of that.
Exactly. And then I think the other thing that's related is like the internet can be good and fun. I've gone viral for silly memes and articles that I've written in the past. And, even if something is pretty benign, in my opinion, it can be polarizing to people. And posts about my mom or anything that she does are just like, people are really nice. And I think that that's a good lesson, especially in this very polarized time, is that, family and love and food and spending time together can make people feel good. And that's reflected in their reactions to it.
All right. Well, Khalid El Khatib, and your mom's name is? Janet. Breaking the internet. And we can't wait to see, what's next for Christmas. I'll look forward to following that.
Thank you.
This episode was brought to you by Top Thought Leader. Go viral with TTL.
Check out all our shows at topthoughtleader.com.
Like and subscribe.